Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm back out on the Ducati Multistrada V4s. So one of the subscribers asked me, is the ACC any good on it? That's the adaptive cruise control, also known as the radar system. So today we're going to go find out. So sit back, relax, and come along for the ride. So guys, it's been an absolute nightmare the last couple of weeks. Been trying to get out on the bike and it's just been horrendous weather. Today's the first day where it's kind of everything's melted. It's giving out kind of like 6 to 8 degrees. It feels a little bit warmer today, that's for sure. Although I've got the heated seat on, I've got the heated grips on full as well. And let's go test this radar system. The ACC, the adaptive cruise controls. Not many bikes have got that. Ducati was the first to put it on. And like I said, one of the subscribers was asking, is it any good in kind of heavy traffic? And I've seen a few videos on YouTube that kind of like explains what it does, but not actually show you what it does. So that's what we're here to do today. So for anybody that doesn't know what the adaptive cruise control is, basically these bikes have a radar built in front and back. On the back, it basically does your blind spot indication. And if you can see in the mirror there, it's got a car overtaking, which works really seamlessly nice. So if I was going to indicate to pull out when a vehicle was approaching, it would then flash a lot quicker to show me that there's something there. Yeah, so we're just going to filter onto the A50. I was going to head down the M1, but too many cameras, and I think the wind noise might be a bit of an issue. Always plenty of traffic about regardless. I didn't want to do it in rush hour. It's 10 o'clock or 20 past 10 now. This is as good as it's going to get weather wise. It's a little bit wet, a little bit slippery, so I guess that can only test this system even better. So I've already got the adaptive cruise control switched on, and that works off this button here. So by pressing down, I can set it at the speed I'm doing. So the bike is now holding at 66 miles an hour. I've got a car coming up on the right here, indication to say in the mirror that it's passing me. Like I said, this works seamlessly. That's brilliant. Right, so the other things, this is the indication for the front radar system, the green on the right, where we've got 2 bars set there. So with the buttons on the left, the plus and the minus, we can then alter that. So that's set in maximum now. That's the furthest distance it's going to hold from any vehicles. So this system tracks all the lanes and not just what's in front of you. So I've just gone into the slow lane, and I'm just going to increase the cruise control speed. 75 miles an hour. And as we're approaching this lorry in front, we'll see what the bike does. And now the lorry's moved, the bike started to use the engine braking to slow down, but now that's moved out of the way, the bike started to accelerate it up to the speed, because that's not tracking it in my lane anymore. You see that flashing? So that was me indicating, and the truck was coming up. So as I indicate, that starts to flash in the mirror, which will tell me, don't pull out, there's a vehicle coming. So let's get back into this lane. Switch the cruise control back on again. And then set it to the desired speed. So I've got that set at like 74 mile an hour, which is actually would be the legal speed if it was calibrated correctly. So now the bike is just holding itself against that vehicle, and we've got sort of 4 bars on the radar system. So as that car's moving out, so what's going to happen here, we've got a car pulling in front of us, The bike is quite responsive and automatically slows down, but not in a way that it's going to feel that it's going to throw you off the bike. Very smooth, very accurate. We're kind of cruising at 59 miles an hour at the minute. I've got a lorry behind me, and the bike is set to 74 miles an hour. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to reduce that distance 2 bars, so I'm at level sort of 2, and now the bike is going to catch the vehicle up and then maintain a safe distance. So I guess we're kind of like about 30 meters or so at this minute from the vehicle in front, and if I drop that down to level 1, let's see how close this bike will get to the lorry. So it's probably knocked about 10 meters off that distance. So at the minute we're kind of sat behind the lorry. We've probably got 20 meter distance. The bike obviously wants to achieve the 74 miles an hour I've got it set at, but it ain't going nowhere. And whilst I've got this lorry at the side of me, this blind spot indication light will stay on until it's out of view, unless there's another vehicle behind, which there is. Kind of one coming up just now. So we've got this other lorry slowing the other car down, so as the lorry moves out the way, I'm sure this Volvo in front is going to start accelerating, and we're now increasing speed up to the desired 74, which, like I've said before in some of my videos, if you're following a group of guys, this is brilliant, because you're never going to all stick at the same speed. In fact, let me just pull behind this Volvo here and I'll just show you what I mean. So now this bike is tracking the Volvo in front, and it will stick to his speed. As he brakes, the engine braking kicks in on this Ducati, and if he brakes harder, the bike will then apply the brakes as well as the engine braking. Now that's cool. Right, so now I'm just stuck behind this Toyota truck. What I'm going to do is kind of accelerate out, and again seamlessly the bike moves on. To be honest, I have sort of used this a little bit when I've done some longer journeys, and it does work very, very well. I always prefer this to being kind of level 2 on the distance, because at level 1 always just feels a little bit unsecure, and I'm pretty sure if he slams his brakes on, this bike will stop. The only thing you've got to be careful of is what I've done a couple of times now, it's an easy mistake to make, is when you're accelerating, and let's say you're following your mate on your bike and you're having a little bit of a play, and you get on the gas, and then all of a sudden he drops his throttle and you're right behind him, and you've got this adaptive cruise control still on, your bike brakes will kick in very harsh, to the point where if you start relaxing off the bike, or for instance you took your hands off the handlebars, you could be in trouble. It does stop pretty sharply, and it's easy to forget that you've got it on. I wouldn't like to sort of like fully test this today at speed just because of how slippy, but for saying this vehicle's in front and I'm doing 55 mile an hour, the bike's trying to achieve the 74. If I was to accelerate up behind him and then drop the throttle, now that is applying the brakes and the engine braking together, and that does actually put the anchors on. So that's one thing you've just got to be careful of, is when you accelerate up to a vehicle or your mate, or if you're in a group and you've still got this adaptive cruise control switched on, that radar system is going to detect anybody that's in front of you, and it's going to put the anchors on, and it's going to put them on quick and hard, but in a smooth way. It will control the bike. So the cruise control will only work past 30 miles an hour. To be honest, I don't think I'd be using it at that speed anyway. These are the only circumstances I would turn on the cruise control. When you're sat on them long laborious roads, and I can guarantee you, even in heavy traffic, this system is fail safe. It works really, really well. And if you just want to rest your hand off that throttle when you're doing a long ride, then this system is going to work. Could I live without it? Yes, I could, because I don't do a lot of motorway riding unless I'm getting to a destination to go ride. So for me personally, if it wasn't on the bike, I wouldn't lose no sleep. But like anything, once you've had it, you won't want to go back. This is an amazing fail-safe safety system on the Ducati Multistrada V4s. The blind spot indication is absolutely brilliant, and I think for bikers that is the most utmost thing that you probably want on a bike if you're going to commute or if you're going to do long journeys on motorways. I'm not saying you probably want to become completely reliant on it. I think you've still got to use your common sense. Like all technology, it's only there to aid you. When I've tested this in the dry, in circumstances where vehicles have pulled out in front of me and put the anchors on, this bike stops. I guess the only thing left to show you is kind of like what the bike will do if it reaches a certain speed and you've still got the system on. So we're approaching a roundabout now. Let's see what happens. The truck in front's braking. I've not touched the brakes yet. The bike is starting to slow down. Again, it will still try to achieve that 75 mile an hour. Now we've got an indication. Everything turned yellow. It gets down to a certain speed and then it shuts off to tell you to use your brakes at that point. So guys, there you go. I've tested the system in the wet, I've tested this system in the dry. I've had to rate this adaptive cruise control radar system on this Ducati V4. I've got to give it a 10 out of 10. I've tested it in the dry weather. Today I've been out in the wet, and do you know what? It's absolutely fantastic. I can't find a fault with it. Like I said, I think all bikes should have it really. A great safety feature, and I would just have it switched on every time you're on their motorways or you're kind of in that heavy traffic. So hope you like the video, guys. If you've not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Give us a like, and I'll see you in the next one.